So, Michael, if you had any updates in terms of the timeline of the January 6th committee that they seem to be operating under and whether we're going to see those public hearings that have been rumored for quite some time, let us know. But also, just wanted to give you a moment if you wanted to address the first clip that we played at the top of this, which was Perdue flat out saying at the start of the debate the other night against Brian Kemp, the Republican governor's race in Georgia, that the 2020 election was fraudulent and that it was stolen. And we know that we hear that from Donald Trump all the time, but it still seems surprising to have it so front and center from what had been considered a somewhat mainstream Republican until this.
Well, I think, you know, if you look at the developments of the past week and what we have learned from the audio that came out about McCarthy or the filing that came out about Meadows, is that these members of Congress, whether it was McCarthy who was talking to Trump or it was Meadows who was talking to Jim Jordan and Scott Perry and other members, is that the members of Congress have important information that is central to the question of whether the Congress's acts were obstructed. Maybe they were obstructed by members of Congress. And if the committee continues on the trajectory that they're on, they will never speak to those individuals. They will not subpoena them to testify. They will not be interviewed. And it will leave a gaping hole in their report because these are clearly identified as central players in what went on. Kevin McCarthy talking, two other members talking to the President of the United States, obviously with a clear-eyed view through some of that audio of what was going on. Meadows, it looks like, in on the plans with these other members like Jim Jordan. But the committee has shown an unwillingness to subpoena them, to force them to answer questions. And the committee can have all of the public hearings that it wants, but without those individuals and without a fuller picture of what went on around them, it will not be a full authoritative account of what happened in the lead up to and during January 6th.
And Michael Schmidt, what would be the reason not to subpoena them?
Well, I think there are two or two and a half or three reasons for that. One of them is that legal experts would say that the members would have a decent argument in court because of the speech and debate protections that they have as members of Congress, that this is an area that hasn't been tested and that Democrats don't want to do that, and that there is a feeling from Democratic leadership in the House that if they were to cross this line, then when the Republicans win back control of Congress, if they were to do that, they would then turn that power on the Democrats themselves, and they don't want to set that precedent. So they're afraid of doing that because of what could happen to them down the line.